template. This template we will use throughout the course, and this is the template that you will use to design every item that is needed for various projects. Now, how I'm going to do this template is I'm going to load up this template on my tutor, and you will be able to open it up on your side. It is an Illustrator file already set up. So for me, I'm going to go, I've already opened it up before, and it's called Body Template 2018 AI. So you can go to File, Open, and wherever you've saved that specific file. I'm just going to click on Body Template. You'll see on my side, I've got a front angle and a back angle of the specific template. It's a model that has a bust size, it's got seams, it's got your waist, it's got your hips, and it's got various seams and designs how you will be able to design various items, such as we will be designing a t-shirt, we'll be doing a blouse, doing a dress, pants, all of those things. This is the template that I want you to use. You will see that it states specifically that it is the front and it has the back. A view of the model, you've got your name, you've got your student number, and you've got which project is this that you will be doing. Obviously, we've got a various projects that we'll be looking at and doing for this course. You'll see that the template is already named, and we'll be using layers, is already named template, and it is locked. You can unlock this by clicking that little button over there, and then you'll see that I've got text layer, which is my layer with text so that I can actually alter my text. So what I don't want you to alter the actual template, so you can see that it isn't moving around. Otherwise it will obviously change. So what we need to do to start designing would be to create a new layer, and I'm going to call this shirt. I'm going to change my color of that specific layer. I'm going to double click on that layer, and I'm going to change this color to, let's say, cyan, and I'm going to say okay. Now I'm only going to be working on the shirt layer, so it has to be selected. So remember what I said is in the previous videos, I'm not going to design the whole shirt from scratch. I'm just going to do half. Now you'll see these red lines. The red line in the front is obviously your center front. The red line in the back is obviously then your center back. So how am I going to do only half? Well, so let's design only half. And remember, I said when you design, you have to close everything off. Now, if I'm only designing half of my shirt, that means that I'm actually not closing it off. So we'll get there as to how to do this. Now, currently, I am only designing with a fill. I like to personally design with just a stroke and not a fill. So how do we swap the colors from my fill to my stroke? Well, I could either click on swap, this little arrow over here, or I can create no fill for my fill as well, no color for my fill. So you can see if I press my little swap button, it just swaps both around. So I want no fill, and I want a specific color and stroke. Because these outlines of this template is already in black, I want to change my outline of my stroke so that I can actually see what I'm designing. Now if I open up swatches, now you can see that there are no swatches currently. I want to load up certain swatches. So I'm going to go and I'm going to select, let's say, earth tones, corporate color books, art history. Which one? I'm just going to say web. Web is an easy one. So you'll see that web pops up. This would be web. All of the colors for web available. So I want to select a specific stroke color, I'm going to select, I like to use something like a pink because you don't generally design in pink. So what I want to do, I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to select my pen tool, which is P, the shortcut. And at my center front, you'll see if I hover over my center front, it gives you a pink line which says intersect, which means that is the center. I'm going to click and release. That is my first line. I want to go to the, now this is obviously my neckline that I'm designing, and I'm going to create a curve. Now remember, there are two ways of creating a curve. The easiest way would be then to, firstly you click and release, and you can see how the line is going to move with my mouse. Second one, I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to create that curve. You can see how I'm creating that curve. I'm going to create it precisely on that line. Now the issue with pen tool is you can see how it always wants to smooth out around this anchor point if you've created a curve. Now you can see how that curve creates over there. But in this instance where I want to create a straight line, I'm going to have to, and this is very important, I have to click on that anchor tool, or that anchor point, the last one where I created my curve. I have to click on there. So look first, this is a curve. If I click on that anchor point, you can see how I've got a straight line again. I'm going to press my space bar so that I can move around on my artboard, and I'm going to create a straight line, and I'm going to click and release. I'm going to zoom out. You see when I've zoomed out, it stopped me using my pen tool. So for me to carry on using my pen tool again, I have to select pen tool, and I'm going to click back on that anchor. You'll see it gives me a little minus. So then I'm just going to go straight down to where I want to start my curve. So this is a straight line right up to there. Click and release, and I'm going to scroll down. You can see that this is a curve. There's technically two curves, so it's going in and it's going out. So what I would suggest you do, where the second curve starts, I always go to, and I click there, click and hold, and create the first curve. You can see how I'm moving my mouse while I'm holding my mouse, or the click, and I'm trying to create that specific curve. I'm going to release, and automatically you'll see again that it wants to give me a second curve, but this curve isn't working with my, if I'm going to zoom in, with my actual design. So I have to click back on that anchor, and I want to start a new curve, so which means that I'm going to then just create that little curve over there. So see what I did there? Again, I clicked at the end of that anchor to stop my curve, then again giving me a new curve. I want a straight line, so I want it to intersect specifically in the middle. This is a straight line, and I'm going to click and release. And now that I'm done with my first half of my shirt, I want to leave my pen tool. Now if I click anywhere else, it's going to give me lines. So I'm just going to undo. How you stop this, remember that you are going to select the selection tool, which is this one here. I use the shortcut, which is V. You can see automatically it stops. The reason that I don't design with a fill is you can see the outline. If I would have put in a fill, you can see that is what it would have looked like. Now that I've designed half of this shirt, I'm going to hide my template so that I can see what's going on. You'll see on the layers little menu over here, it looks like a little eye. For my template, it looks like a little block, although it says it does the same thing. So if I click on that, it toggles the visibility on or off. And you can see that I can toggle it off. So now what I want to do is I want to reflect. Now, how do we reflect? Well, we did this in the previous video. I have to, with my selection tool, I have to select that specific object. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go to transform, reflect, and my angle is going to be 90%. I want to show a preview, and I have to say copy, otherwise it's going to be the original part that's going to reflect. So I'm going to say copy. With that specific selection selected, or object selected, I'm just going to select with my little arrow key on my keyboard, and I'm going to press right. And you can see that basically looks the same at the moment. Okay, so what do we want to do? We actually want this to intersect with each other. They have to group together. So I'm just going to unhide my template again. So you can see that this part is off center, so which means that it has to be around there. If it isn't perfect, it doesn't matter. It's pretty much there. If you want to be specific, you can always click and drag it precisely to where you want to. But we always want to have a little gap between the two lines so that we can actually connect them. Okay, so how do we connect these two? Because technically, if I'm going to zoom out, I'm going to hide my template, and I've got one color here and I've got another color here. You can see that there's a gap. That white line, we obviously don't want that white line. We want it to be say the same. I mean, obviously filled together. So what are we going to do? So all I do is, if I select my direct selection tool, which is this one, the shortcut for that would be A. If I select my first line, and you'll see my anchor point is over there, and I'm just hover over my second line, my second anchor point would be over there. So all I have to do is hold in Shift and left click again so that both lines or both objects are selected. Now I can view the two anchor points. So see that the anchor point is white. Now I want to hold in Shift and I want to click directly with the direct selection tool on that anchor point. You can see how the color changed to a solid blue. Same with this one, hold in Shift, click on that anchor point, solid blue. So how do we join this? So the easy way would be on your keyboard. With Windows, you're going to say Control J. On Mac, you say Command J. So you can see how, boom, that little section has joined. I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to select the first object, hold in Shift, I'm going to select the second object. Again, I'm going to hold in Shift, I'm going to select the first anchor point, and hold in Shift, I'm going to select the second anchor point. All I do on Windows, Control and the letter J, and for Mac it's going to be Command J, and we join. We will do this, I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to do this at the top as well, so that they are joined. Same thing, click, and the reason that I've clicked it once and they are already both lighted up, because at the bottom it's already joined, so it's technically already the same object. So now I just want to select the two anchor points. So I'm going to hold in Shift, select the first one, hold Shift, select the second anchor point, and again Windows Control J, Mac Command J, join. So now we've joined those two, and if I have a fill of my little shirt, and there we go. I think that's easy peasy.